Here we are, another special guest, my roommate, my friend, Troy Edwards. And guess what? I put extra crumbs in my eyebrows just for you. So, Troy,
Fucking brows.
what do you got? You got a jazz tip of the day?
Do I have a jazz tip of the day? Work hard, study hard. Yeah, if it's hard to do, it's worth doing.
There you go. Jazz tip of the day. If it's hard to do, it's worth doing. Go! So, what's going on, Troy? How you been?
I've been all right. Just kind of all over the board since college. I was working at Wyoming Seminary for a little bit. I was the assistant director of residential life there.
Okay.
COVID made things a little bit hairy. I left there. One of my friends I graduated from SEM with was looking for a general manager of a restaurant, like a local private restaurant that he owns around here. So I was general manager there for like a year and a half.
That's pretty sick. Okay.
Yeah, but a lot of restaurants were struggling looking for people to work, you know? So it's
I mean, it was tough. That was kind of, I guess that was like 2022. So it was toward the tail end of COVID when I was there that things were kind of starting to open up. And to be honest with you, I think people were just stoked to get out and be in public. So we were getting slammed. I was working a lot, and you don't get weekends off in the restaurant business. I got like a Tuesday, maybe a Wednesday, you know. So I was just getting slammed over there. But it was good. And now I'm at a asset management company studying for my Series 65 license, my securities license, so I can trade, give financial advice, you know, to be an investment advisor representative. So it's kind of where I'm at.
I'll give you my money. I'll give you my money. You can advise
it. That's wise at this juncture, at this point in time, but
gotta give him a couple years first, Ray. Let him practice.
It's not a lot. It's not a lot.
Formula down. That's when we can start giving him our money, man.
Yeah, so, I got the test on November 10th. So next Friday, right? Next Friday, I think.
Well, you got this. You always had good study habits.
Yeah, I mean this is hard. I got no background in finance. I've been there for like 10 months, but yeah, I'm hoping to pass.
You can figure it out. You got through NYU. You got this.
How'd you navigate from being working a restaurant business, being a GM there, to now entering the financial services industry? How did that happen?
Networking, luck, and due diligence, maybe I'm patting myself on the back too.
What was the spark? Like, what made you like, you know what, I want to get into financial services, I want to make that transition? What was was it money? Was it just, you wanted to change a pace? You wanted your weekends back?
Yeah, I mean, it was probably a couple things. Weekends being one of them. Like, I didn't really care about working on the weekends. More than like I couldn't, none of my friends. I already live an hour and a half away from like where my parents are at, like where I grew up. So it was hard. Like nobody's off on Tuesday, Wednesday. So I wasn't really getting to see anybody. I don't mind working weekends, but I just wasn't getting to see my friends and family. Working holidays. But more than anything, it wasn't necessarily that I was looking for like switching to the financial industry. I actually was I was doing the event coordinating. The restaurant I was at was called the Canning House. And I was also the event coordinator there. So I was looking at event coordinating positions, but mainly I was looking for a little bit more work-life balance, and wanted to make more money, obviously. That's always.
So you wanted to work less and make more at the same time. I hear you.
Yeah, I mean, I was making decent money. Not that I wasn't making decent money, but I just didn't have a private life really. Like even on my days off, if somebody called off, I had to figure out how to get their shift covered, or it's just typical restaurant business stuff.
Always on call, right?
Yeah, and I just I was at SEM before that, where I was like living on campus and in the dorm. So it was kind of the same thing. I was always on call. So I felt like between college, like and wrestling, and then working at SEM, and then working in the restaurant business, I felt like I was
never
on
had a
call.
weekend to yourself, huh?
Yeah, I just felt like I was on call for like 6 years, and I was like, all right, yeah, just a little bit of time just to myself where it's kind of uninterrupted would be nice. So I actually was looking at a position that was local. Like I live in Wilkes-Barre. I was looking at a position that was local, and I knew a guy. One of my friends from high school, his dad, I used to be a member there, and so I had reached out to him, and I said, "Hey, kind of, what can you tell me about this job? Or do you know who does the hiring? Could you put in a good word? Like, I think I'm going to apply." And he's like, "Oh, come into the office tomorrow, and we'll talk about it." And he is actually the owner of this asset management firm. It's called Chancellor Financial Group. And we kind of got to talking, and I was like, yeah, that job's not for me. And the event coordinator position at this place I was looking at, it was just going to require too much and just wasn't going to work. I got a dog now, and it just wasn't going to work. But he's like, but I'll still hire you, because he'd always been joking, like, since I was wrestling in high school. He's like, oh, when you're out of school, you come to me, I'll hire you. He'd always been joking about it, but I was always afraid of having a 9-to-5 office job, sitting in a cubicle, and he kind of explained to me that it's, what we do here is not really that. Like, yeah, you have an office. It's not a cubicle. I got a sweet view. I got a pretty sweet view of Wilkes-Barre Square. I can't complain about my office, not a bit. But he kind of explained what we do, and it's, it's relationship driven. It's about, connecting with people, understanding their situation, their financial needs, their financial goals, their financial wants, and knowing enough about them to make those goals a reality, I guess. So yeah, I ended up taking it. I said I'll give you at least 6 months to see if it's something I'm interested in doing. And I mean, I learned a ton in 6 months, and while it is an office job, he was definitely right. It's a relationship-driven business, and you have to know your client. I'm studying for my exam right now, and one of the sections is, on your clients is literally called like know your client. You got to know a lot about them, not just finance-wise, but kind of what life phase or life position they're in to be able to give what is called like suitable advice. So I really have been enjoying that aspect of it. Without my license, I can't deal with clients. I can't build my own book of clients right now. But that's the goal of, passing this exam and eventually building a book of my own clients so that I can kind of have that work-life balance of, working when I need to, working when my clients need me, but not necessarily having to go in and grind every single day for a 9-to-5.
Yeah.
They're still grinding. There's still harder times of the year, easier times of the year, but it's not necessarily like, it doesn't feel like as much of a grind every single day.
Right. You got good work and life balance, and that's great. You learned how to maneuver. You knew what you wanted, right? Like you did what you had to do, and then you really thought about what you wanted, right? So it's great that you're able to pivot and maneuver.
Pivot and maneuver.
Pivot and maneuver, baby. Just like scatterball. And this is where we're going to end the debate, because Troy, I think, won the most scatterball games out of everyone. Mikey might have been in the most.
No. I was not in the scatterball. I would always come from the office to practice, and by the time I would arrive, I was in a couple scatterball games, but I can't pivot and maneuver like Troy can.
Mikey was a big target,
That was
Yeah, that was awesome. Scatterball, that got the juices flowing before practice. That got me to practice and through practice most days.
Yeah. And
you look forward to it, right? You'd be like, I don't want to practice, but scatterball. Now that's a little something different, yeah.
And gets you moving, gets you a little sweat before practice. I've had the knees of a 90-year-old since I was 20, so that helped.
Yeah, and Troy was actually one of my first friends I met at NYU. Remember we were moving in at Third North? What was it? University Hall.
University, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know you guys were roommates freshman year. When you said that earlier, I was like, well, you guys were roommates. I wonder how that went.
He lived, I think I was a floor above you. I was wearing a guinea tee moving in, of course. He was wearing an NYU wrestling shirt, and we talked, and then we hung out later that night, had a good time with some girls from England. Remember?
Oh my God, come on now.
We met a lot of new people.
We met a lot of new people, but we weren't roommates freshman year.
Okay.
He lived the floor. We lived in the same building. I didn't even honestly remember it was the floor above. We were in the same building, close enough.
Okay.
But sophomore year we lived together. It was me, Ray, Don Balls, and A-Day.
In A-Day, okay, that makes sense.
Carlisle Court, right in Union Square, sophomore year. That was a fun year, dude.
That was a fun year. That was, for some reason, I remember that was like, that was a fun year, but that was a hard year, I felt like.
Yeah. Well, the sophomore year is where like you kind of finally figure out what you're gonna do, so you get your studies in order, and that's the year they moved from Kohl's to the Palladium.
Palladium, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that made that a little bit easier. We didn't have to go near as far for practice.
Yeah, we were walking 25, 30 minutes sometimes to practice from Union Square.
Yeah. I was lucky. I was skating everywhere, but still, yeah, that was a hike.
But that sophomore year, man, it was fun. We made our own table. It was great. Everyone came in and
everyone your own table. We might made your own table.
Well, we took a door off the hinges and we made a table because they give you this little tiny table, and you have like 4 grown men. Well, we like to call ourselves grown men at that time, and it was like you can't do anything. Like, what are we gonna do? But we had a great time.
Where are we gonna play?
You guys took a door off the hinges in the dorm.
Yeah, we played CeeLo on that. You know, we played other games, but dude, that was after a long day, right? How great was it when we were all home, just chilling, relaxing?
Except for when you guys wrapped all of my shit in saran wrap or something.
Yeah, Troy was out, and I forgot what he did, but we're like, oh, we gotta get him. So Don got.
It was Monday night dollar beers, which I never ever went to because I didn't really drink, but like, nonetheless, on a weekday, and I went out to dollar beers on a Monday, and I got banged up, and. Yeah, and they wrapped everything I owned in saran, including like my shoes and my skateboards and like things that I needed to like get going the next day.
To function.
Like, I woke up the next day like late, trying to get to class, and I'm like getting pissed off because I'm like, where is all my stuff? Like, I gotta go, and they're just cracking up because I was the only one with I always took early classes so I could be done early and study before practice. I hated going to the library after practice.
I wasn't a library guy. I think you were a library guy though.
Oof. I lived in Bobst. I was like a mutant in that place.
See, I hate it because you had to always walk down and back, you know. But the saran wrap was good. I think we even did the toilet one time.
Yeah, dude.
Saran wrap the toilet you guys all used?
Well, we did the top, so you do the top, so it looks like there's nothing on it. So, you know, when you go,
Nah, that's...
That's what you gotta live with, Mikey. It's the work-life balance.
But like, the thing is that like, it's not like you guys had your own private toilets. You all had to use the same toilet.
Yeah.
So like, you were just banking someone else had to use it before you did.
Well, we would just use the bathroom downstairs at the dorm just for the sake of the joke. We sacrificed just so we could get a good laugh, you know. At Troy's dispense at least.
I don't think I pissed on it though. I don't think so.
I think you might have sat down and you're like, what is this?
That was the time.
Dude, that was a great time, man. And you know, just living with some of your closest friends. It's sometimes aggravating, but it's the best time of your life, right?
I can think of a time or two that we aggravated the heck out of you, Ray Jazz. I won't blow up your spot or anybody's spot on here, but I think you could think of at least one where you got real mad at least me and Don.
Oh yeah, well there's a couple times probably, but that's the thing. We all got mad at each other, and then we all made up. And that's
Can I hear one? Worst case scenario, Ray can edit it out.
You'll probably have to edit this out.
Which one is it?
The one where Don made cookies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, don't put that. Don't put
We'll
that.
skip that one. There has to be another one.
You were. Well, I don't know if you were that mad. One time Ray left. I forget why. Like Ray was like gone for the weekend or something. And we had all bought beta fish.
Oh yeah.
We put them all in the same tank, and they all had like names.
We had a bet going to see who would live the longest.
Whose would be the last man standing. And I think like we had people over or something like that, and I think it was Austin Oliver. I don't know how it like came up, but we were like, Austin was like, oh, he's like, I'll eat Ray's fish, because we were talking about like putting your fish somewhere else and being like, yeah, dude, like your fish died like over the weekend, like sucks.
Mine was a fighter. Mine wouldn't die. Mine was a fighter. It had like one fin left.
Oh, dude. And Ollie was like, oh, I'll eat it. So Ollie like swallows Ray's fish, and Ray comes back, and we're like, dude, the other fish like over the weekend just ganged up on your fish and just like ate him whole, like everything, just ate him.
And it was Ollie.
And
What
Ollie,
a sick man.
Dude,
yeah,
what?
Yeah, dude, and it was either Austin or Don. They would cheat. If theirs died, they would buy the same exact color and act like we didn't see which one it was.
I don't remember that. That was probably Don.
Yeah, be like, Don, your fish is like looks like he just got rejuvenated. It was all beat up, and then the next day it's a brand new fish.
Dude,
Oh man.
he really ate the fish whole? He just like,
Yeah.
that's nuts, bro.
He didn't even do a cup of water. He just.
Yeah, no, he just swallowed that thing.
Yep.
You know, Ollie was a different breed. No doubt about that.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah. So then, Troy. So then, what? Our junior year, where was I? I was at Stuytown. Who did you room with your junior year?
You were at Stuytown with what?
Austin
like,
and Paisan.
Oh, it was Austin and Paisan, but who else was over there? Like Kaizen, LoJack.
We took their apartment when they graduated.
Oh, is that what it was? Yeah, all right.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember them being over there too.
We had to get all of Kaizen's chicken bones out of the couch.
Yeah, dude. Junior year actually was the year I lived with Big Country.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. You know what? That was like that whole situation. It was because I was studying abroad. I didn't want to pay for the whole year. Yeah, and I forget like what happened, but something fell through, and I didn't like have a place to be. And somebody was like, "Oh, like Big Country's got room in his apartment," and I was like, "Fuck, dude, Big Country." And like if you've been to his place, like man, it was
tight.
It was a spectacle. So we ended up like talking. I mean, Big Country and I were like, we were friendly, but we weren't necessarily like hanging out all the time. Like, and I went over there. We talked it out. He was like, "Yeah, that'll work." And I just went over there one day, and I was like, "Country, just get out. I'm cleaning it up."
See, I was just expecting you to say it was gross.
Yeah, Troy was a neat freak. He had to get his desk was always perfectly. That's why we did the saran wrap, because we knew he would notice and look for his stuff. Like we made sure it was all clean, so when he would go in his cabinet to grab something, saran wrap.
Yeah, not a neat freak, but organized.
Organized, which is good.
But Big Country's place was something else, so I had to get it in a position where it was habitable.
Yeah.
We'll say that. But it ended up being awesome, man. That was fantastic. I loved living with Big Country for the most part. And then actually senior year, me and Austin.
Where was your place with Big Country located? Where was that? Where was in these?
Is that by St. Mark's?
102 was on St. Mark's. 102 St. Mark's,
nice.
baby.
Yeah.
Nice. That's a great location.
Yeah.
Where did you study abroad that year?
Spain.
Oh yeah. Oh, I remember that.
Ooh,
Yeah.
nice.
That's why you took like a bunch of years of Spanish. I remember that. Spanish classes are hard.
I graduated with a minor in Spanish. I taught Spanish for a little while at SEM.
Well, was it in Madrid? Is that the campus, Madrid?
Yeah, yeah, that's where I was at.
Did you go to any football games?
I actually didn't go. I tried to go. I forget what happened, but our, like NYU, we're fortunate enough to have like satellite campuses all across the world. And our campus there, the like I would get on a train, the subway, the metro, and my stop to go to campus was actually at where Real Madrid plays. I believe it's like El
Wow.
Estadio Bernabeu. Does
Yeah.
that sound Bernabeu?
Yeah, that sounds precisely right. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it was actually like that was the stop. It was like, Estadio Bernabeu. And I was
That's
like,
pretty sick. Okay, that's pretty. And you never
so
managed to go to a game there?
what's up?
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I walk past it every day, but I went in once like and got like a brief tour, but I never actually got to see a game.
You ever got to see Ronaldo, man, at his peak, at his finest?
Who needs that,
No, I'm not. I mean, I'm not.
Hey, man, I started to recently get into football.
Yeah, I wish I would have gone in hindsight, but I'm not a huge soccer guy, and I was trying to finish my minor over there, so I was taking all my classes in Spanish. I was taking art history in Spanish.
Oh, wow.
Law classes in Spanish, so I was actually studying like a lot.
Dude, that's nuts.
Yeah,
You're taking law classes and art history in Spanish?
Yeah, it was like human rights law, I think was the class. Yeah, I forget what all my classes were. It was like human rights law, took art history in Spanish. I took like, an actual, like I forget, it was a Spanish class. It was like, composition or something like that.
Yeah.
And then, forget what the class was called, but we read all of Don Quixote in like
Don Quixote.
In Spanish? In Spanish.
Yeah, but it's in like old I think it's like Castilian, like the Castellano. It's like if you read like old English, like you can make out some
it's
of
like
it.
That kind of deal, right?
Like, wait, what does this mean?
Yeah.
It was the same thing. It was in it's Spanish, but there's like olden dialect and words and phrases that
sayings, that you just
what that is.
That is interesting, dude. And then for the law class, did you have to do like case briefs and stuff like that and analyze like decisions? Like, I'm not gonna lie, I took a couple law classes just because of my major in like entertainment law, but like that's annoying enough as it is in English. I can only imagine how it is in a different language, bro. Even if it's like Spanish, like that is something else, man.
Yeah, that was hard, but I mean, it was worth it. I'm pretty sure I might have had like one class left. Like I probably took a Spanish class or two my senior year, but I pretty much finished up my minor while I was over there, which was worth it because it was like, you're kind of already in the zone, in the mode of speaking Spanish. You might as well like keep it up when you go to class. You know what I mean?
You got the full service.
5 months?
What's up?
You were there like 4 months, 5 months, right? For study abroad?
It's it's at least, I think it's 5 months. I mean, it's what did we do? We did
1 semester, right?
Yeah, you did a semester.
Yeah. So it was half the year.
Yeah, that's pretty sick, man. I mean, if there's any time to take classes in Spanish, it would be in the motherland, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
How was it living over there?
It was awesome. I mean, it was hard at first, just because like you don't realize how your language kind of structures your thinking, like the way your brain works, and you kind of got to do some like there's like some rewiring. It's not just like, you know what I mean? Like it's really hard to explain.
Did you find yourself thinking in Spanish at times?
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Or even if I would think in English, I would be able to think fast enough that I knew I couldn't exactly say that in Spanish. So I would phrase it a different way that I knew I could say in Spanish. You know what I mean? Like, I would always be able to get my point across, but whether it was like exactly correct in the way, like
The
grammatically.
typical Spanish person would use it as, right?
Yeah,
Like that.
but I mean, I picked up on it. Like, you kind of have to, it's just like, again, yeah, you catch yourself thinking in Spanish, and the order of your sentences, and just
the phrases just completely change, right? Yeah.
it's just different. So it took a little while to get used to that. But once I got used to it, it was awesome. They just have a different culture out there. Like, on the weekends, like, you can't get a coffee before like 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning. You just can't. Everybody's closed. Everybody's sleeping.
I like that. I like that kind of culture. I know Bruce would hate it, but I love that.
Yeah. No, but it's funny that you say thinking in another language, and that's common here with a lot of, like, native Spanish speakers or other languages like Chinese or whatever. And when I was getting trained in wrestling and pro wrestling, that was a big thing with some of the natural Spanish speakers. A guy, Rip Rogers, who trained a lot of great guys. He asked them, "Do you think in English or do you think in Spanish?" And they said, "Oh, I think in Spanish." So he goes, "When you get mad in the ring, say it like you're mad in your head, and say it in Spanish, and it comes off more authentic." So it's pretty funny that you said it like that.
That's interesting.
Yeah, no, that's a real, like, there's a word for the phenomenon of it. I forget what it is, but it's pretty interesting. It's like a linguistic phenomenon, but it is really interesting, and it is true, but you kind of have to live it to really realize
experience it, right? Yeah.
And
I imagine you're in the perfect conditions for that. I mean, again, literally in the country, you were studying the language, you were taking classes in the language, and I mean, you're interacting with people every day that were speaking the language. So
it is. I mean, it's hard though. Like, I just remember being exhausted at the end of the days, like, because I would come back. I was living with Justin Martinez, Jamar.
Oh, Jamar, yeah.
He was my roommate. And I remember, like, we would just come back and we'd, just be talking in English in the room, and it's like you can finally, like, your brain's on all day long. Like, even when you're just out, going grocery shopping, like, your brain's on because
you're processing, like, the different tags, the labels. Someone comes up to you, "Can I help you?" in Spanish. You gotta, like, "Oh, no, thank you," in Spanish. So
yeah, so it's awesome. Like, I really did love it, but it takes you a little while to get used to, and, like, the beginning is it's exhausting. It's exhausting. Yeah. But it was awesome. I loved it. That was definitely a life-changing experience to go over there and live that life, even if just for 6 months. That was I learned a lot over there. Definitely honed my language skills. But it was just awesome being over there, experiencing a different culture. Just didn't have to wrestle for 6 months.
That's the biggest takeaway, huh?
Yeah. Did you ever go back recently or no?
No, I haven't been back. I mean, I haven't done a ton of traveling outside of the country really since college. I got super lucky in college between studying abroad and being able to travel on, like, those weekends. And then when we took our trip to Germany
the Germany trip.
No, yeah, that was awesome.
What were your favorite things to do in Madrid? Like, what were your favorite activities, so to speak?
I was different than most. The group that I went with, I didn't really jive with because it was mostly, like, all frat kids, and I really didn't have an interest in, like, going out clubbing. I honestly, one of the things I did most out there was I would just skate around, skateboard or longboard, and just go check out like the sites. And then also I was a tutor in this program called Teoigo, which translates to "I hear you," and it was like a I don't know how to. It's kind of like a big brother, big sister thing, and you get paired with Spanish speakers who are hearing impaired and want to learn English. And it was started by this woman who, she lived in Spain, was a Spanish speaker, met her husband. They moved to America and was an English speaker, but they would be going back and forth. And one time, her daughter on one of the trips was complaining, my ear hurts. and her very young daughter ended up losing hearing in one of her ears from like the pressure or something like that. And the doctors said, you have to pick a language to teach your daughter, like, because she's, deaf in one ear, she's not going to be able to learn English and Spanish. And the woman who started it was like, that's not going to happen. We'll figure it out. Like, she's going to know both. And so she actually started this program called Teoigo, where you have English speakers tutoring Spanish speakers who are hearing impaired to speak English. So I got paired with this like little girl, and it was pretty interesting. Like, she was hearing impaired, her little sister was hearing impaired, and her dad was hearing impaired, and the mom was not. But I did that a lot. That was like maybe once, I don't remember exactly, but it was like once or twice a week. Take the metro, go up there, and like basically just hang out for like an hour or two. It wasn't like structured like teaching, it was literally just hanging out. It was going playing on the playground, or taking a bike ride, or even hanging out at the house and just doing random stuff. But so I was teaching her English, but we just as much, like, I learned just as much Spanish, because you kind of have to know a little bit of both if you don't have enough of an understanding of one to be able to communicate, to ask questions. And so I learned a ton from them. And the mother and I actually talk every now and again. Almudena was the mom. And her and I talk every now and again. We're friends on Instagram, and just catch up, see how each other are doing. And it's cool. The little girl is like, she's got to be a teenager by now. I don't know. She was like, I don't know, 10, 11 maybe.
Yeah.
But that was 2017 now. So she's like, a full.
In high school now, yeah.
High school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of weird to think about, but that was another like kind of life-changing part of being over there. Really, they accepted me into their family. It was awesome. I learned a lot. Hopefully they learned stuff from me. That was really cool. But other than that, probably eating.
Yeah.
That's kind of what
I was gonna ask you if you learned any recipes there. You learned to cook in Spanish too,
Cooking Spanish.
Mikey wants you to come over and cook him a nice dinner.
Nah, I didn't really. The stuff I was cooking wasn't like, Spanish cuisine, or like, nothing really like that. Me and Jamar were going grocery shopping and getting what we could and making what we could,
Nah, don't tell me you were getting American ingredients, making American dishes.
Not
Come on, that's
really.
part of the experience.
It's only right.
I was loving what you were telling me before about you speak the language, live the culture, stroll around. I don't want the clubbing. The very least you could have done is also gone to the supermarket and shopped the Spanish groceries and cooked the Spanish
man,
way,
cooking like decadent meals takes money, Mikey, and I
Yeah.
money.
We're still broke college
You're
kids
tutoring,
over there.
man. I thought you were bringing in some cash,
We definitely we cooked. It's not like we were cooking like, like, oh, what's on the menu? Like, oh, I'm making cheeseburgers tonight.
Yeah.
They only have like limited stuff, so you're still getting, I would say the thing I liked most that is like typical of Madrid, was just like jamón ibérico and and like manchego cheese, and just like, bread. Like, that was awesome. I love
You're
that.
talking about you're not making the money, but then you're talking about jamón ibérico, which is like one of the finest pork dishes you can get in the world.
Yeah.
That's some cheddar, man.
we had the ibérico, but there's cheaper stuff that's similar. You get Serrano or whatever, like, and it's way better over there than it is here.
Yeah.
Like, it's like you get jamón Serrano over here, it's like chewy and like it's not that good. Over there, it's like, even if you're getting the lower grade, the lower cut, like that's good. That's good stuff.
Slaps. That slaps.
Yeah.
But that reminds me of the time when we were in Europe, right? Speaking about having the culture food over there, where Sonny would order the Bud Light instead of the German beer.
Oh, dude,
There's no way.
Like, amazing. That trip was
That was
so fun.
Yeah, we were there for what?
He said Tito was ordering the Bud
Bud
Light,
Light?
bro.
Dude, he wouldn't get anything else but Bud Light. He's American.
Was he making a statement? Was it a statement he was making? Or?
It was fun. Dude, we were there for 10 days. It was the best time of my life.
Yeah, that really was fun.
We were there for 4th of July, too. So we celebrated 4th of July over in Europe.
I didn't even remember that. I just remember there was like, whenever we were in think we were in Munich, I guess, or like Germany anyway. There was like some soccer game going on. I think, Germany must have been in it, but like everybody was going crazy. And again, like I'm not really a football fan, but I think it was like, must have been something for the World Cup or, again, I don't really know, but people were into it. You remember after we wrestled, we were in that like,
it was like a sports center. It was cool. Yeah.
There's like a gymnastics thing, and it was like a big, there's like glass walls, and we were just all drinking beer in there.
That was great. We wrestled with the team. We had a match or whatever, and then after they just it's part of their culture. They brought out a bunch of beer, and we sat and we watched the games with them. Right?
I remember
it's like a big
Bruce
party.
was telling me about that dilemma because it was him and like another couple administrators, and like they saw like the club people rolling the beers, and he's like, what are we supposed to do? Like, it's part of the culture, they're of age here, it's not against the law. I guess we just let them drink it, I guess. Just don't let them get drunk.
That was awesome.
Yeah, it was a great time.
Yeah.
So I remember Bruce would tell me like they'd bring in like, I'm used to drinking my beer cold, but they'd bring in this warm beer, but it's made for the temperature, so it tasted so good, it was so flavorful.
He enjoyed that trip more than we did, I think.
Yeah, the administrators and coaches definitely enjoyed that trip as well.
Oh, dude, it was a time, man.
Definitely did.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah. Anything else you want to cover?
No, I'm just happy y'all had me on. It was good catching up with you a little bit. That's it. I mean, I don't really have too much.
Yeah, I miss you, brother.
Pretty
been a
boring.
while.
Yeah, man, I haven't seen you in a while. Yeah.
We got to catch up. You only in Wilkes-Barre?
I'm in Wilkes-Barre. Yeah, I'd like to get up. I mean, I'd like to. Where are you at? Are you in New York still?
I'm in Bridgewater, New Jersey. So I'm not far from you. I might be an hour and 15 from you.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize it was that.
Scranton Wilkes is not far at all from me. From Mikey's still Long Island.
Mm-hmm.
Long Island. Yeah, I mean, if you're ever over this way, obviously hit me up.
Yeah.
I'd like to get back. I've only been to the city, I think I visited one time since I graduated.
Wow.
Yeah, you got to come back and visit the new facility. I've been on Bruce about having like a great alumni event where it's not like, don't do the half-assed one, like do a full one so everyone can see this thing.
It looks sick. It looks sick.
They
was telling me it was sick. Yeah, I haven't been yet. I haven't been.
They dropped the ball. They should have had the alumni match in October because it's easy for everyone in October because as a coach, I'm not in the middle of the season. It's right before all that busy stuff kicks off.
Yeah. Did they have an alumni match? I probably missed it.
No, there's no more wrestle-offs. They do it. They go to open tournaments and figure it out.
Really?
Wait, really? They don't have wrestle-offs anymore. I'm not gonna lie. That's pretty modern thinking. That's some Penn State thinking.
I don't like it. I like having the alumni match. It's good because everyone meets the team. You know what I mean? You see the team and you meet everyone. It's an event. I like that.
But if we're talking about like deciding the starters.
Yeah,
It's not high school anymore, right? You're not wrestling your teammates.
Yeah, but a lot of programs they do both. I know Lehigh does both. They do the brown and white match, and they do it for the alumni. It's not for the team; it's for the alumni mostly.
Yeah.
Because it's less loose because you're not dealing with another team. You're dealing with in-house people, and you can make it fun. Sometimes it's not even wrestle-offs; it's just matchups.
I think that's a good idea where you do it purely for maybe the starters in the very beginning of the season. Mm-hmm. Right before any tournaments start, like who's the quote unquote starter, and then you have it for the alumni, like you said, but then for the actual lineup throughout the year, you use the open tournaments and matches.
I think that's fair, but like I said, it's about the experience.
Yeah. No, I agree. They should absolutely have an alumni match. I think that's like that's a core experience. Yeah. And I'll get Troy to come over.
Let me see the dog. Let's take a look.
Come on, up.
Oh, look at that.
What's up, Titus? You say hello?
Oh, Titus. What's up, buddy? Yeah, Troy, I'm going to be wrestling by you. I got to look at my schedule a couple times. Are you far from Lancaster?
I mean, not far, but not close.
Like Floresville?
Yeah, it's probably like, an hour and a half. Maybe
like Pennsylvania, if it's an hour from it, it's considered close, right? It's just up the street, right?
I mean, it's not, you know, it ain't 3 hours, but
Yeah. It's still. I can make
He's saying for you, Ray, he's not making the trip.
We'll figure it out. If you want to come back to Jersey or New York, you can stay at my place if you want.
hell yeah.
But I should make a trip out there. It gets wild over there in Wilkes sometimes, huh?
We have our fair share of fun, but
I think the wildest I've seen Wilkes, I think me and Jacob Lil went to the where you have the hibachi kitchen in Wilkes, nearby the hotel we used to always stay at whenever we go to Wilkes-Barre for the tournaments. They had like a hibachi place. I remember that one night there was like 7 birthdays or whatever, and the staff kept coming around saying "Happy birthday" constantly. We were all
Was
just
it
like
your
sitting
birthday
and
that night?
clapping.
It
What
was your
happened?
birthday. Was it your birthday that night too?
No, it was not my birthday that night. I think we made Jacob's birthday though, because he wanted the cake.
Yeah, well, gotta get your free cake. You have your cake and eat it too, right, Troy Balls?
yeah, there you go. What is this, the breakfast buffet?
It's the breakfast buffet, baby. Have your cake and eat it too.
All right, on that note, yo, I gotta go. But I appreciate you guys having me on.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Appreciate you being on here, man.
Yeah,
Hearing your experiences. I mean, like, pretty dope, dude. It's awesome.
Yeah, buddy. Appreciate it.
Too.
Yeah.